With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
You know how some matchups in sports just have that extra edge?
Mm-hmm.
In the Indian Premier League, when Chennai Super Kings and
Yeah.
Kolkata Knight Riders lock horns, it's always a spectacle. Seriously. The history between these two franchises,
Yeah.
the sheer passion of their fan bases,
Mhm.
it's something else.
Totally agree. And for you, diving into this hypothetical 2025 clash at Chepauk, well, the layers of rivalry and strategic nuances are what make it so compelling.
Exactly. And that's precisely what this deep dive is all about today. You sent us some really fascinating material analyzing a potential CSK versus KKR game in the 2025 IPL season.
Right.
And zeroing in on how one particular player, Rahul Tripathi, could influence the outcome.
Yeah, so our mission here, basically, is to unpack that analysis for you, our listeners, to really understand the dynamics at play in this rivalry as it might unfold in 2025, and to pinpoint just how significant Rahul Tripathi's role could potentially be. So let's get into what your sources reveal.
Okay, it sounds good. So thinking about the IPL in 2025, I mean, it's already a massive global phenomenon. Based on what you see in the analysis, how do you see the league landscape evolving even further?
Well, the materials suggest that the IPL's global dominance will likely just intensify.
Right.
Yeah, we might see even more international talent integrated, maybe further innovations in how teams approach strategy, using data analytics even more deeply, perhaps.
Makes sense.
The player auctions naturally will be pivotal, like always, in reshaping team compositions.
And against that backdrop, we have this enduring rivalry between CSK and KKR. For you, what are the defining characteristics of each of these teams, historically speaking?
Well, looking back, CSK's hallmark has really been remarkable consistency. And playing at home, Chepauk in Chennai, that's a massive advantage.
Huge.
They just seem to have this almost like intrinsic understanding of those conditions. Your sources really emphasize how they've built this culture of strategic smarts, often outmaneuvering opponents.
And then there's KKR, a team that's always brought that electrifying element, haven't they? A real sense of unpredictability and some truly explosive players over the years. Their journey might have had more peaks and valleys maybe, but it's never been dull viewing.
Precisely. Unpredictability is almost KKR's calling card, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They possess the batting firepower to just dismantle any bowling attack when they click. And, you know, their passionate supporters add another really vibrant dimension to this whole rivalry. The head-to-head stats are always poured over by fans before any match.
So this hypothetical match in 2025 at Chepauk, it's not just another fixture in the calendar, is it? I mean, depending on where the teams stand in the season, the stakes could be incredibly high.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, potential playoff berths on the line, crucial momentum building towards the finals. That kind of thing.
Your analysis certainly points to that possibility. Late season clashes, especially between, top tier teams like CSK and KKR, often carry immense weight. The pressure on the players, the heightened intensity, it all just gets amplified.
And speaking of Chepauk, that stadium itself almost feels like a character in this rivalry, doesn't it?
It really does.
That famous pitch that, as your sources detail, is renowned for increasingly favoring spin as the game progresses. And that Chennai crowd, wow, you can practically feel the atmosphere even before a ball is bowled.
Yeah, Chepauk's reputation for spin is, well, it's well documented. It forces teams to strategically adapt their plans as the innings unfold.
Right.
And you're spot on about the crowd. The home support for CSK is a tangible factor. It creates a very, very challenging environment for visiting teams.
All right, let's dive into the teams themselves then, starting with CSK. Based on the material you've examined, what are their typical strengths that we as listeners should expect to see on display in 2025?
Well, historically, CSK's strength lies in their experienced core. Players who are just adept at navigating high-pressure situations, something younger teams sometimes struggle with in the IPL. Your analysis highlights their strategic captaincy. And look, even if MS Dhoni's role evolves, his tactical brain, his acumen, is likely to remain a significant influence.
You'd think so.
They tend to build these well-rounded squads, reliable batsmen who understand how to construct an innings, clever spin bowlers who exploit those Chipak conditions, and effective death bowlers.
Death bowlers, yeah.
Those specialists who restrict runs in the final overs. And of course, their deep familiarity with the Chipak pitch is just a constant advantage for them.
That home ground expertise is clearly invaluable. But what potential weaknesses might CSK face heading into the 2025 season, according to the analysis you looked at?
Good question. Your sources suggest that their reliance on experienced players, while often a strength, can also become a vulnerability if those key players aren't in peak form.
Okay.
It can sometimes place greater pressure on the rest of the squad, you know. The analysis also notes that CSK has occasionally looked a bit susceptible to those ultra-aggressive, high-scoring batting lineups.
Right, the power hitters.
Exactly. And finding consistent, genuine, express-pace bowling options has sometimes been a recurring challenge for them. Ultimately, their performance can be heavily dependent on the form of their key players at any given moment.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, based on the material, who are some of those key CSK players, or player types maybe, that we should keep an eye on in this hypothetical matchup?
Well, specific names might obviously change by 2025, but the analysis points to their top-order batsmen, maybe someone in the mold of a Devin Conway or a Ruturaj Gaikwad,
Got it.
needing to establish a solid foundation. Their spin bowlers, like a Ravindra Jadeja or maybe a Mahesh Dikshana type, they'll be crucial in exploiting the expected turn at Chipak.
For sure.
And you'll invariably see significant contributions from their all-rounders, those players who can impact the game with both bat and ball. Vital.
Got it. Okay, now let's switch focus to KKR. What are their standout strengths, based on the analysis, that could pose a significant threat to CSK, especially playing at Chipak?
KKR's defining characteristic, as your sources indicate, is often their explosive batting, just raw power.
Yeah.
They tend to stack their batting order with players capable of scoring really rapidly and just changing the complexion of a game within a few overs.
Right.
They also frequently possess quality spin bowlers, which can be a major asset, particularly if that Chipak pitch offers assistance. And their generally aggressive approach, with both bat and ball, can be quite unsettling for any opposition.
That aggressive approach can certainly be thrilling to watch, but has it sometimes been a bit of a double-edged sword for them? What potential weaknesses does the analysis highlight for KKR?
Yeah, inconsistency has been a recurring theme for KKR, according to your material. That explosive batting, well, it can sometimes lead to collapses if they lose early wickets in quick succession.
Oh, okay.
They can also be vulnerable to really disciplined, strategic bowling that doesn't allow them easy scoring opportunities. And while they often have talented spinners, their pace attack has, at times, been prone to being a bit expensive. Furthermore, those high-pressure situations, the crunch moments, can sometimes expose vulnerabilities within their batting lineup.
So thinking about KKR's key players, who are the personnel that CSK will need to be particularly wary of in this potential 2025 encounter?
Well, think of those really impactful batsmen, maybe someone with the capabilities of an Andre Russell or a Nitish Rana players who can just single-handedly take a game away from you in a matter of overs.
Scary prospects.
Definitely. Their spin bowling duo, perhaps a Sunil Narine and a Varun Chakravarthi type, will be vital for controlling those middle overs and picking up crucial wickets. And they're all-rounders, players who contribute across different aspects of the game. They'll play a significant role in their overall team balance.
Okay, now let's really focus in on the player your analysis specifically highlights, Rahul Tripathi. For you, what kind of batsman is he? What are his key characteristics?
Right, Rahul Tripathi. He's really renowned for his aggressive, often fearless approach at the crease.
Yeah, he goes for it.
He really does. Your sources describe him as someone who likes to dictate terms to the bowlers, score quickly, and he's demonstrated adaptability, too, in terms of his batting position. Can bat up top or in the middle.
Versatile.
Exactly. He certainly possesses the potential to be a genuine match winner when he's on song.
So considering his style, how could his role specifically play out in this hypothetical CSK-KKR clash at Chipak?
Well, his batting position will be critical, as I mentioned. If he opens, his primary role would likely be to provide a really rapid start.
Get him flying.
Exactly. Put pressure on the CSK bowlers immediately and establish positive momentum for the KKR innings. Now, if he bats in the middle order, he might be tasked with either consolidating a good start or, maybe more likely, accelerating the scoring rate if early wickets have fallen.
And what about the specific challenges he'd face against CSK's bowling attack on that Chipak pitch, which we know favors spin?
Yeah, that's the big one. CSK's strength in spin bowling is a significant challenge for any batsman, let alone an aggressive one.
Right.
Your analysis emphasizes that Tripathi's ability to, read the spin, use his footwork effectively, and find ways to score against quality spinners like a Jadeja or Theekshana.
Yeah.
That'll be absolutely crucial.
Huge test.
Huge. And he'll also be tested by the variations in pace and length from CSK's seam bowlers, who will likely aim to disrupt his aggressive intentions, maybe bowl wider, change the pace.
Sounds like his performance could really dictate the overall tempo and approach of KKR's batting innings then, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Massively. If Tripathi manages to get off to a flyer, it injects tremendous momentum into the KKR innings.
Yeah.
It allows the batsman following him to play with greater freedom. A rapid start can significantly dent the confidence of the opposition's bowling attack, too. Conversely, if he struggles early or gets out cheaply, it could place considerable pressure on the rest of the KKR lineup to build a substantial total.
And in those critical high-pressure moments like a tight run chase or when KKR is defending a crucial total, what kind of impact could Tripathi potentially have?
That's where his temperament, his ability to handle pressure, really becomes paramount, isn't it?
Right.
Can he maintain his aggressive mindset without taking, unnecessary risks? Can he maybe anchor the innings and rotate the strike if the situation demands it, show that other side to his game?
Good point.
His performance in those clutch moments could very well be a decisive factor in the match's outcome.
The analysis you examined also highlights the importance of looking at Rahul Tripathi's past record against CSK's key bowlers. Why is that historical data so significant?
Well, examining those head-to-head stats can reveal some really invaluable insights.
Okay.
For instance, what's his scoring rate against Jadeja? How many times has Theekshana dismissed him? Maybe. Understanding these patterns can help us anticipate his likely approach and the bowler's strategies against him.
Right, the game plan.
Exactly. It's about identifying potential favorable matchups, or conversely, instances where CSK's bowlers have historically had the upper hand against him.
Okay, let's try to visualize the match itself now. We have Chipak, the likely spin-friendly conditions, potentially some dew influencing the later stages. How do you see these environmental factors shaping the game?
The pitch at Chipak will, as it often does, play a central role. If it's dry and offers significant turn right from the outset, CSK's spinners will be licking their lips, eager to exploit those conditions. However, if the pitch is maybe a bit flatter, better for batting early on, KKR's power hitters could capitalize on that initial firmness.
Okay.
And the weather, particularly the presence of dew in the evening, that can significantly impact the bowlers, right? Makes it harder to grip the ball.
Yes, slippery.
Exactly, and potentially favors the team batting second. That's always a calculation.
And what about those key individual player battles we discussed earlier? The matchup between Rahul Tripathi and CSK's spin bowlers feels like a particularly pivotal one, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. That contest, probably in the middle overs, could indeed be a major turning point in the game. If Tripathi can consistently score effectively against, say, Jadeja and Theekshana, it will exert significant pressure back onto CSK. Conversely, if they manage to keep him quiet, or better yet, dismiss him cheaply, it will significantly stifle KKR's scoring momentum during a key phase.
And on the flip side,
Similarly, how CSK's hot order batsmen handle KKR's pace attack in the initial power play, those first 6 overs with fielding restrictions.
right, the power play.
That will be crucial in setting the stage for their innings. Can they negate that early aggression from KKR's bowlers and build a solid foundation? Or will KKR strike early? That first phase is so important.
So, based on your understanding of the analysis, what kind of overarching team strategies might we expect to see from both CSK and KKR in this kind of encounter?
For CSK, I'd anticipate they'll look to really maximize their spin bowling advantage, particularly as the match wears on and the pitch potentially deteriorates.
Makes sense.
They'll likely aim to build substantial partnerships through the middle overs, not lose too many wickets, and then rely on their experienced finishers to accelerate the scoring at the death.
Classic CSK approach, really.
Pretty much. Their bowling strategy will probably focus heavily on containing KKR's explosive batsmen, denying them those boundary options, forcing singles.
Okay. And for KKR, how might they strategize to counter that inherent spin threat at Chipak? That's the big challenge for them, isn't it?
It is. KKR will likely need to adopt an aggressive mindset right from the get-go, during that power play we mentioned. Try and pile on as many runs as possible before the pitch conditions potentially become more challenging for batting.
Look hard early.
Exactly. They'll need Rahul Tripathi, along with their other top-order batsmen, to actively attack CSK's pace bowlers early in the innings. Then, later on, they'll depend on their own spinners to try and pick up crucial wickets in the middle overs and disrupt CSK's rhythm.
So Tripathi's role is key at both ends, really, against pace early and potentially needing to counter spin later.
Absolutely vital. His role in executing that aggressive strategy against both pace and spin will be absolutely critical for KKR's chances in this specific scenario.
We should also probably factor in those unpredictable elements, right? The X factors, as your analysis terms them. What kind of unforeseen events could suddenly swing the momentum?
You're absolutely right to bring that up. It's never solely about the tactical plans on paper, is it?
Never in cricket.
Exactly. A brilliant, maybe unexpected innings from a lower-order batsman, a spectacular catch in the outfield that just dramatically shifts the momentum, or even a, contentious umpiring decision at a critical juncture. These are the kinds of unpredictable events that can completely alter the course of a T20 match.
It happens all the time. Okay, let's try to tie it all together now, focusing specifically on Rahul Tripathi again. Based on the analysis, maybe paint us a picture of a few different performance scenarios for him. What if he gets off to a blazing start?
Okay, scenario 1. Tripathi ignites a quick-fire start, say 40 off 15 balls. That immediately puts CSK's bowlers and fielders under immense pressure.
Right, field spreads quickly.
Exactly. KKR's scoring rate surges, and it provides the subsequent batsmen in their lineup with the freedom to play with more intent. That early momentum can be incredibly difficult for the opposition to halt.
Okay, scenario 2.
Yeah.
What if he plays a more measured, steady innings? Maybe anchors it a bit.
Right. If he plays a more composed anchoring innings, maybe a 60 off 50 balls, it provides vital stability to the KKR batting order, especially if wickets fall around him. It allows their renowned power hitters to come in later and really maximize the scoring in the final overs, knowing they have a set batsman at the other end.
Okay, and scenario 3.
Yeah.
The opposite. What if he has a rare off day and fails to score significantly?
Yeah, that's the danger. If he fails to score, particularly if he gets out early, it can expose KKR's middle order to CSK's strong bowling attack, especially the spinners, much earlier than they like. It puts them on the back foot right from the outset, potentially derailing their aggressive game plan.
So, considering all of this then, what's the overarching significance of this hypothetical CSK versus KKR match within the context of the 2025 IPL season?
Well, it's a contest between two really prominent franchises with, as we've discussed, contrasting playing styles and incredibly passionate fan bases. Depending on their respective positions in the league standings at that point, the outcome could have significant ramifications for their playoff aspirations. It's a game brimming with star players and intricate tactical battles, a true spectacle for the viewers.
And it certainly sounds like Rahul Tripathi has the potential to be right at the heart of that spectacle, maybe even emerging as the deciding factor.
Absolutely. His aggressive batting prowess and his ability to score rapidly make him a really dangerous proposition for CSK to contain, especially if he gets going. His performance in this particular encounter could very well be the key that unlocks a KKR victory. Or, conversely, his failure could further solidify CSK's dominance on their home turf.
So, having taken this deep dive into a hypothetical CSK versus KKR battle with a specific lens on Rahul Tripathi's potential impact, what would you say are the crucial takeaways for someone like our listener trying to understand the dynamics of such a high-stakes IPL clash? What are the key elements likely to determine who ultimately prevails at Tripathi in 2025?
Yeah, I think the key takeaways, really highlighted by your provided analysis, underscore that vital interplay between team strengths and inherent weaknesses.
Right.
The significant influence of the venue conditions, particularly that spin-friendly Tripathi pitch, and of course the potential for individual player brilliance to just sway the outcome entirely, especially from someone as dynamic as Rahul Tripathi. His ability to effectively counter CSK's spin attack and establish a strong foundation for KKR's innings. Yeah, that could very well be the defining factor in this kind of matchup.
Fascinating insights. Okay, so considering all the detailed analysis we've explored, here's a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over. What single factor, in your opinion, do you believe will be the most critical in determining the victor of such a high-stakes match at Tripathi? Is it the effectiveness of the spin bowling from either side? Is it the explosiveness of the top-order batting? Or perhaps the sheer individual brilliance of a key player like Tripathi on that specific day?
It really makes you appreciate all the intricate strategic layers that contribute to the drama and excitement of a cricket match, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And hopefully this deep dive, by focusing on this hypothetical scenario and a key player like Rahul Tripathi, provides a valuable framework for analyzing any future high-profile cricket match.
Yeah, encouraging everyone to look beyond just the final score and delve into the underlying strategies, the crucial player battles, and the significant influence of the conditions that ultimately shape the game.